Barcelona, Spurs, Liverpool. These aren't just some of the best teams in the world. These are teams that have felt the full-on Chelsea effect in weeks. It's not just winning, it's how they're winning now.
It's just played into Chelsea's hands tonight. It finished off with Ole football, cheers from the crowd, even just giving players like Neto, Reece James, Esteval, time to recover before the big weekend. And they've been to a man from start to finish. Honestly, Jules, they was absolutely sensational. Out of possession.
Sensational performances. The manager finally getting it right with his young squad. And the best part, they're doing all of this without their main man. Still, no Cole Palmer for Chelsea, but they're flying. They've found other ways to be cold. We're talking about a team that in the space of days is about to enter a top-of-the-league showdown off the back of beating arguably one of the best teams on the planet. So what's the secret then? How did Enzo Maresca finally find the balance with Chelsea? And why is Chelsea's current form not normal? Again, the results speak volumes. As of recording this, Chelsea are second in the Premier League, 6 points behind league leaders Arsenal. This might seem good at best, but when you consider that just a couple of weeks back they were losing to the likes of Sunderland and weren't even in the title discussions, it's serious improvement. As is the recent form too. Unbeaten in their last 6 in all competitions, 3 straight clean sheets in their last 3 games, the same metric. They're doing it against anyone too, from Burnley to Barcelona. So how did it all change then? Since that 2-1 defeat to Sunderland, Chelsea have been on a run of 5 wins and a draw in all competitions. But the biggest factor behind the team's recent form now has to be the fact that almost no one was taking note until the game versus Barcelona. It's been a tipsy-turvy campaign for every team in the league. Yes, Arsenal might be 6 points ahead, but there's been no real standout performer. This has played perfectly into Chelsea and Maresca's hands. It's why even with the win, especially the big one against Barcelona, which we will get to, Enzo Maresca is still being cautious. He talks about how nothing has changed. The plan is still the same.
For me, personally, as you said, it's a big win, especially because the other team was Barcelona. But nothing changed in terms of what team we are, what we can achieve. So for sure it's important tonight game. But no more than that. It's finished. Now focus on the next one that it's difficult again.
But to anyone watching, it's clear that this Chelsea team has hit a different gear that's making them scary now. The data tells the same story as well. According to the numbers, Maresca's team is actually the best side in the Premier League from an attacking standpoint. They lead the league for the most XG with 22.5 per 90, the most shots on target with 5.6, and the most big chances created with 39. It's particularly interesting when you look at the numbers again. It's almost as if they've gone under the radar because the usual league heavyweights have had contrasting forms this season. Liverpool, for example, has been awful in their title defence. Manchester City can't maintain its rhythm for long, and Arsenal has been the team trying to set the standard for the rest of the league. All of this has meant that if Maresca's team could build some sort of momentum, which they have, it could take them to crazy levels both in the league and in Europe, and that's what has happened. The fixtures have also helped. Chelsea's fixtures this season have come against teams you'd expect them to win. Now, this doesn't discredit any of the performances they've had in this run, but just thinking of it as the team knowing how to maximize performances and making the most of it. And then, of course, the actual results. A lot was made about Chelsea at the start of the season and how inconsistent they've been. They started the season with a goalless draw against West Ham before hitting 5 last West Ham, beating Fulham at the Bridge, only to then drop points against Brentford. But the real first big test of the season was always going to be against the Bundesliga champions Bayern Munich. And at the Allianz Arena, despite putting in a spirited performance, Chelsea just fell short. And you'll find out how soon enough. But first, we've got a quick one. At matchday moments, we're trying to pull away from the pack, trying to bring you quality content like this that appeals to you and the wider audience watching, and in turn, all you've got to do is hit that hype button down below. That's it. A 3-1 defeat for Chelsea. It's not that they were outplayed. If anything, Chelsea were architects of their own misfortune with an own goal and a penalty, and after following this result with a 2-1 defeat to Manchester United, the pressure continued to mount. The same with the questions too.
My criticism with Chelsea is the actual 3.5 years they've been there in terms of a club, and how you can still have that team, and we're saying no chance for the league.
Particularly after the defeat to Manchester United. A lot of people wrote this Chelsea team off, didn't give them a chance to compete again. It also didn't help that in the next 3 games, Chelsea didn't look convincing. They scraped to a 2-1 win against Lincoln Town in the Carabao Cup, lost to Brighton at home in the league, and just managed to beat Benfica 1-0 in the Champions League until Maresca's team decided it was time to put out a statement. Against the defending champions Liverpool. Yes, Liverpool were going through a phase, a bad form, but at the same time, they were still the defending champions. They still had enough players in the squad to worry teams. Chelsea dominated from start to finish. Moises Caicedo made that early pressure count with a pile driver.
Opening up for a shot for Moises Caicedo! Well, even by his standards, that's something special. It's always a beauty when Caicedo scores.
But in the second half, they relented a bit, and Liverpool pounced on that little opening to draw level. It seemed for large parts time, Chelsea would be unable to make that dominance count. Enzo Fernandez hit the bar. Both Willian Estevao and Jamie Bino Gittens forced the goalie into making important saves late on. But just as it seemed like time had run out, they found a way. The 18-year-old gem, William Estevao, with the winner. And in that moment, Chelsea had made a statement. It was like the result lit a spark in the team. Even without Cole Palmer, even without the long-term injury to Levi Colwill using a relatively inexperienced Josh Akempong in defence, Chelsea still produced a top performance. It became the catalyst for the next 2 games. On the bounce, they put 3 against Nottingham Forest and hit Ajax for 5 before that shocking 2-1 defeat to Sunderland. But looking back at it now, as crazy as this sounds, maybe losing to Sunderland was a good thing. It eventually gave Chelsea that disconnect from any media hype. Good. Allowed Maresca to rebuild the team with results again. Now his young team was finding its feet. They played to a 4-3 win against Wolves in a match where Jamie Bino Gittens stole the show with a banger. And then came Spurs. It wasn't pretty. It was nerve-wracking. A battle, a proper London affair. But eventually, João Pedro's goal settled it. A 1-0 win at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. More importantly, Chelsea were now showing that defensive resiliency that many claimed they lacked from the start. Drawing against Qarabağ in the Champions League was another temporary blip, almost a welcome distraction. With no real focus from the media or hype, Chelsea could continue their business. They returned to the Bridge and beat Wolves 3-0. The players returned from the international break and picked up where they left off against Burnley. A solid 2-0 win away at Turf Moor, before arguably the most complete game of the season. Chelsea versus Barcelona at the Bridge, and this one had a lot riding on it. For Chelsea, it was an even bigger chance to lay down a marker. True, they'd beaten the champions of Europe and England in the space of months, but this test was going to be different. Even with the injuries, this Barcelona team was scary. Lamine Yamal, Robert Lewandowski, Rafinha, Jules Koundé, Frenkie de Jong, Ferran Torres, Fermin Lopez. Under Hansi Flick, Barcelona had become a goal-scoring machine. They'd scored in every Champions League game they had played in under Flick since the German took over. They dismantled teams as soon as they found their rhythm. Many, again, didn't give Chelsea a chance. Again, it was just what Chelsea needed. Chelsea flew out of the blocks from the start. Within 5 minutes, Enzo Fernandez already had the ball in the back of the net, but the goal was disallowed due to Wesley Fofana's handball in the build-up, a warning shot. Chelsea wasn't attempting to mess around. Barcelona had a golden chance to take the lead, but after Ferran Torres missed, it sent a subtle reminder to the Chelsea team. That's the nature of European football. One slip-up could have you chasing a game already. With this idea in mind, Chelsea continued to apply the pressure. 25 minutes in, and they scored again. Enzo Fernandez again, and for the second time, it was ruled out. Still, they didn't relent. Chelsea sensed blood. This Barca team, even with the superstars they had, was there for the taking. Chelsea worked a short corner through Marc Cucurella, and after Barca failed to clear their lines, it eventually came off Jules Kounde and went in 1-0 Chelsea, well deserved. Just before the end of the first half, Ronaldo Araujo received his second yellow card, the first for dissent and the second for a crazy foul on Marc Cucurella. Red card. Chelsea had now gone a goal up and a man up against Barcelona. The message from Maresca at halftime must have been simple: leave nothing to chance. Make sure Flick's team remembered the visit to Stamford Bridge for all the wrong reasons. 10 minutes into the second half, Andre Santos won the ball in the Barca half, gave it to captain Reece James, who in turn found Willian Estevao. And from that point on, the 18-year-old sensation produced one of the best solo goals of the season. Wow! Lamine Yamal suddenly wasn't the youngest hotshot in the team anymore. Estevao was making a statement. Liam Delap later came from off the bench to wrap up the scoring for Chelsea. 3 goals, 3 points in the Champions League. But it wasn't just about the result, it was about who they'd done it against. For the first time since he took over, a Barcelona-led Hansi Flick side failed to score. Starboy Lamine Yamal was hooked off in the 70th minute. Chelsea clearly won this hands down, which brings us to the present day. Maresca's men are suddenly right back in all the positive pictures again, even with the injury problems they're showing that they can produce results when push comes to shove. Second in the league, as of recording this, 5th in the Champions League standings, and needing just 2 more wins to make it to the knockouts. It's clear now that if Chelsea can keep the momentum and certain players stay fit, they'll cause sustained problems to any team. Players like Moises Caicedo and Enzo Fernandez have been key. Caicedo is almost redefining what it means to play as a holding midfielder, combining tackling with technical ability. Enzo Fernandez keeps getting better with each game. Reece James is staying fit and injury-free. Willian Estevao is coming into his own now. Chelsea have shown they don't need to have one consistent goal scorer. They spread the goals across the team. That's what Enzo Maresca is building now. A team capable of producing results. It'll be interesting to see where Chelsea end up as the season progresses, but one thing is clear. If they keep up at this rate, Chelsea will shock Europe. What do you think? Have they just been lucky with the fixtures? Or is Enzo Maresca really building a team that's ready to take on all comers in the Premier League and in Europe? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to hit that hype button to Matchday Moments for more videos like this.